So a couple of days ago, I put out a video talking about that even though it's coming into low season and the wet season, it's still a good time to come to Pattaya, and I got some mixed responses in the comments, and most of it was around the weather, so I wanted to address that today. And well, speaking of the weather, so I think a huge misconception about Thailand is that if you come here during the wet season, you're just going to experience this tropical monsoon the whole time and it'll just be raining constantly all day, every day. And that's not the case at all. So there are parts of the country that do experience quite heavy rainfall, especially throughout that time of year. But if you want to come to a place like Pattaya or Bangkok or Hua Hin, or, you know, a lot of the touristy places that are the most commonly visited, those don't really experience much rain. We do get it every single day or for the majority of days throughout the week, but it only really rains for like an hour or two. Usually it'll hammer down for an hour, 2 hours max, and then that's it, and the rest of the day is fine after that. Now, there is a caveat to that in that sometimes you just get a rainy day where it just rains all day. You know, that's just a normal thing. That's not a Thailand thing. It's not a wet season thing. That happens anywhere in the world. The last time I was back in Australia, it actually rained every day for 2 weeks in a row when I was there, and it was horrible. It was constant rain, whereas here, often when it rains in the afternoon, the sun will come out and it's like it never rained. So I do get asked often, is it even worth coming to Thailand this time of year, or should you come during the wet season? And honestly, there's parts about it that I prefer to the high season. You know, the hotels are cheaper, everything is cheaper. It's easier to get hotels, it's easier to get around. You know, the taxis, the Bolts, the Grabs can be a nightmare during the high season. Just earlier this year and sort of around February, March, there was times I would go on Bolt or on Grab and I wasn't able to even book because there was like a 25-minute wait, so people wouldn't even accept. So getting around was really challenging, especially, you know, if you're staying in Jomtien or somewhere out of the main part of Pattaya. Add to that, the traffic was insane. Whereas now it's much easier to get around. You know, I can book a Bolt and it'll be here within a minute or two, or if I want to go somewhere, the traffic's not as bad. It's just generally a nicer experience for getting around. The hotel prices and availability, that's a real issue as well. You know, I'm someone who doesn't really like to plan all that much, and I often come down here on a whim. I'll wake up in the morning and think, oh, I think I'll go to Pattaya today, and try and book somewhere on the way down, and I have my preferred places that I like to stay. And a lot of the time during the high season, I'd go to book them online and I couldn't get them, and I used to have these places to myself for like a quarter of the price, and you know, I was spoiled for the longest time. But you know, when we experienced this high season, that all changed. Now, I mentioned before that when it rains here, it hammers down, and if you've been here during that time, during the wet season, when it pours down, it can be insane sometimes. You know, you get flash flooding. It happens here, it happens in Bangkok. It's just that the water can't drain fast enough. So, you know, the area is typical for that. Around Soi Buakhao, it can be insane. I've been there and it's sort of knee deep in water everywhere, and there's nothing you can do apart from walk in it. And then it gets hard to get around, you know, bike or taxi or whatever. But, you know, it usually only takes an hour or so before it's all able to drain away. Now, if you are coming here to Thailand, one thing I definitely recommend doing is getting yourself a VPN. So I personally use and recommend Surfshark, who are actually the sponsor of today's video. Surfshark is an amazing VPN provider. I've been using them for about 2 years now. I used to pay for the service. I now get it for free, obviously. So thank you, Surfshark. But here in Thailand, I do think having a VPN is quite important. I've been hacked before, which was a total nightmare. And then on top of that, there's the thing you can't stream some TV shows or whatever, some parts of Netflix from some countries. So if you change your location, you're able to get around all that, and you can do that with Surfshark VPN. I've got a great promo code that you can use. That's keis1, and that gives you 83% off plus 3 months extra for free. And I'm just freaking out a little bit because this dog is walking up to me. Hey, buddy. So check out Surfshark. All the information, everything you need to know is down in the description below. Get your ass over to Thailand. Now, I know it's technically not rainy season just yet, but it has actually rained a couple of days this week, and same thing, it's just an hour or two, and then it's sunny the rest of the time. And I mean, you can see today is absolutely amazing. It was a great day for me to address this. But even over the last 2 years of me living here, I've never felt like the rainy season has even bothered me. Now, I definitely understand the reservations. You know, if you only get one holiday a year and it's only for a week or 2 weeks or whatever, you don't want to spend it cooped up in your hotel while it's raining the whole time. But, you know, I mean, you could get unlucky and that happens, but generally that won't be the case. And, you know, there's a lot of, as I mentioned before, the benefits of coming here at that time. The lower airfares, the lower hotel costs, the lower costs for everything in general, and less crowds, less traffic. I mean, it kind of works.
One thing that also came up quite a lot in the comments is the cost of airfares, and that's totally valid. I know the flights out of the UK and the US are insanely expensive at the moment, but unfortunately, I kind of think that's just where we're at right now. It's just how things are. I know domestic flights are expensive. Flying anywhere in the world is expensive at the moment, so, you know, that's not just a Thailand thing or a high season, low season thing. So unfortunately, yes, if you do want to come here, the flights are going to be expensive, but I mean, what are the alternatives? If you want to go anywhere in Southeast Asia or do any travel in general, it's going to be expensive for the airlines. Now, unfortunately, I don't see the airline prices going down anytime soon, which sucks, I know, but there's nothing you can do. It's sort of out of our control. So if you can get past that and you still want to take a trip out here during wet season, you know, understand that it will rain just about every day. But like I said earlier, when it rains, it doesn't rain all day mostly. It's just sort of 1 hour or 2 hours here and there, and just find something to do for that time. So for me personally, if I'm out and about and I get caught in it, I'll just go, you know, kill an hour, go get a massage, go get a beer. I mean, you can always sit down somewhere and have a beer, right? Speaking of beer,
such a beautiful afternoon. So I'm just on my way to go catch up with Sam. He's in town. Well, he's just moved here actually. He's going to be in town permanently. So going to catch up with him and grab a sunset beer.
oh, this guy.
Hey. Comes with beers. What a mate. So should you still come here this time of year? I mean, there's nowhere else I'd rather be right now. So come, don't come, stay home, whatever. Up to you.